Good evening, welcome back to the Motorcycle Fixer channel. This evening we're going to take a look at this BMW F650gs engine. I think I've talked about it before, but in case you're new, the input shaft was chewed up. I think somebody welded a sprocket on it, so that's the only thing I was told was wrong with this engine. I've got a new output shaft to go in, and then we'll rebuild it, and then hopefully we'll make a bit of a profit when we sell it on. I've got the fire lit, so let's start stripping it down. First thing we need to do is remove these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rocker cover bolts. Just need to take all 8 of these off and then remove the rocker cover and see what we've got inside. And by the magic of TV, this is our last bolt to come off. Then we can lift this rocker cover off. So you've got the bolt with the step on it, and you've got your rubber seal on the end. As always, we're going to keep all the bits that we take off this engine in one box or in a couple of boxes so that we don't have anything left over. So that's an old box, and then we're going to remove our cover. With our plastic mallet. There we go. And there we are. And there's our rocker cover. Looks lovely and clean in here, I must say. Everything looks nice and clean. The oil looks nice and clean, so I think when he told me that this engine, there was nothing else wrong with it, I think he was telling me the truth, because that looks very nice indeed. So I'm going to remove this gasket like so. I'm going to remove this chain guard next, so we'll have that out of the way. These two 10mm bolts. Two. There's the bolt there, shoulder bolt. There's 2 of them, both the same size, in good condition, not bent. And there's our chain. And there's our chain guard, in good condition, so we're not going to do anything with that. We'll put those bolts back through like that, put that in there. Okay, so next thing I'm going to remove these 8 bolts here. Take this cam cover off. And that's the last of our bolts undone. These bolts have got, each of the bolts have got a washer on it, so I'm going to leave all of those as they are and lift this off if I can in one all together. Just it's doweled so that it just needs a bit of a tug. The bolts, yeah, so the bolts are all the same length, so you can mix and match them. And there is only one dowel in this one. See that dowel there? Oh, actually, there's a pin. Let me take our bolt out so you can see it. There's a pin there, and there's a dowel there. So there we are. We're going to keep that in the box as it is, so it goes back on the same. So that tidy in the box. That should have actually taken this chain tensioner off first. It don't matter though. It's a 22 mil spanner. Let me lift that down a little bit for you to see it. There we are. So there's a chain tensioner bolt there, 22 mil spanner, and we're gonna undo that without knocking the engine off the stand. There we are. Just give it a little tap. Tap it in, tap it in. There we are. So there's our cam chain tensioner. Hydraulic cam chain tensioner. It's okay, that's that removed. And now our chain is nice and loose. First to remove our cams. Now that that cam chain tensioner is off, we can remove our cams. Just lift it out. This is the rear one, obviously. So there's our rear cam. Sorry, it's off camera. So there we are, the teeth look good. There's no more wear to the top of the cams. Usually at the highest point, that's where the most, off camera again, usually the most wear is on the top of the cam there, because that's where the most pressure is on it. But these cams look lovely, you can see it. I'm not sure of the mileage of this engine, but it haven't done much. That's why I don't understand how they've stripped the output shaft, but there we are. Okay, so that's the rear sprocket, and we can take our front sprocket off. Exactly the same. Now, if you was just changing something on the top or doing the timing, you'd want to keep that up there so it doesn't come off the bottom sprocket, but as we build in the bottom end anyway, I'm going to let it go. Okay, so there's our front sprocket, the same, the teeth are okay. We've got our centrifugal decompression lever, automatic decompression, so there we are, that's working fine. There's no wear or anything on that one. So now we can move our front cam chain guide, that's what it's called. Put that in the box as well. First we've got to remove this, ow, this bottom cam plate. Here we are, just wiggle it, try not to, you don't need to tap it with anything really, I mean, or lever it with anything, you don't want to damage it. Okay, so there's our cam plate, bottom cam plate. There's two dowels there and there, and they are stuck in. So if they was loose, I'd take them out, because when you move the head you might lose them, but because they're stuck, then that's good. You're less likely to lose them when they're like that. Don't drop it. Right, the head bolts on this, there are a lot. There's the four main ones, which is a 16 mil which is very random. There are two, one there and one there from the top. So that's, well, I can't add, honestly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the top. Then you have from the bottom 1, 2, 3 in the front, 1 on the side there, and then 1, 2 in the back. So it's quite a lot holding this on. I guess it's because it's high compression head, but we'll remove these bottom ones first. In the front here we got two 11mm bolts, which is ridiculous. So let's take these 11s out first. Okay, that's the two bolts from the front coming up from underneath that way. They're both the same size, so keep those together there. We're going to have a look now. Is it another 11 on the back? Yes, there is. There's one there. So just working out which way to undo. And also we'll undo this one on the back. And that's the one from the back, 11mm. And it's the same size as the one off the front, so that's good. Oh, good. Right, while we got the 11mm spanner in our hand, this one on the side is also an 11, so we are going to undo that one at the same time. Okay, so that's all the 11mm ones I can do with the spanner. So now there's three. There's three on this side now with that are 8mm. So we're gonna just undo these three. So these are the M6 8mm head bolts that go in the side. That's two of them. The one in the middle is ridiculously difficult to remove. I've had to get a thin wall 8mm ring spanner to get on this middle one, because that's the only way to undo it. I don't know why car and bike manufacturers make things like this, because surely it's easier for their technicians if everything is easy to take off as well, but there we are. There's my gripe of the day. Okay, there you go. That's the one in the middle. Taken out. Right, so how many have we got? And there we are. There's that's all of them, top and bottoms. Okay, so we've taken the one 11mm out from this side. There's one here which we need to do for the socket next. This is our long 11mm. There we go, that's that one out. And then it's on to our 16mm nuts. So there's 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to take these out. I don't know how tight these are going to be. Oh yeah, pretty tight. You should never hit a ratchet with a hammer. But I haven't got a T-bar this size. So there we are, when it needs must. Okay, so ow! God damn. Right, that's 1, Close enough. 2. There we are. Maybe get a T-bar, 3/8. Right down the list. Right. There we are. So we take these 4 nuts off. And there's our 4 nuts. There's no washers on these actually, so which I'm quite surprised at. So there we are. Put them safe. Job done. Right. Now our head. Just going to check inside this port, make sure there's no one there, because it can be sometimes. No, we should have got them all. So now, we should be able to remove the head. Rubber mallet, plastic mallet. Just give it a nice tap, just to release it, and then, there it is. There's our head. The valve. Oops, there we go, it was one of our buckets. Right, I was just trying to show you. There's the valves, they look in very good condition, to be honest with you. I'll do a leak down test on this before I strip it out to lap the valves in, because it may be that they're okay. I've just cleaned the coke from around the top of the engine, but the valves look perfect, so I don't think we'll be doing a lot with those. Right, there we are then, that's our head. And I'm going to wrap this up in some blue roll just to make sure we don't get any dirt, ingress or anything. Now I'm going to take the head gasket. Now I'm going to take the head gasket off. It's very thin actually. You've got little dowels there, which there's one there at the front, one there at the back. What you don't want to do is pull the head gasket off and those to pull out and lose them. In this head now they're solid, I can't take them out, so but I'm just going to check once the head gasket is off that they're still there, because you don't want to lose them, because they're what positions your head obviously. So just be careful that you don't lose those. Get your head gasket off. So there we are, there's our head gasket. Obviously needs replacing. Then and now we're ready to take the barrel off. The actual barrel itself, and it may be where we took the head off. The barrel itself is it has a little bit of oil in it, so I'm going to soak that up before I pull the head off, and it goes everywhere. Okay. I'm just soaking that up. The barrel itself, there's no marks on the barrel, there's no scoring. The walls are lovely actually. So there we are, that's where I'll do really dry. So our 2 dowel pins are still in there, they're still stuck in the head, which is good. To take the barrel off now, or the cylinder. Don't call it a jug. Yeah, it does. It's just ridiculous. It's not. It does look like a jug. And jugs got a bottom on it. So anyway, we need to take this coolant pipe off here, and there are 2 8mm bolts. One there and one there. Just this side. One there, one there. And they've got to come off. So coolant pipe first. Okay, still the factory clips in there, so pipe grips. Squeeze it together like so, and try and wrench off the pipe. It's tight, it's pretty tight. There we are. That's that one. Now you don't have to take the bottom one off, but I think we will. Just get it out of the way. There we are. That's that coil pipe removed. There's a bit of corrosion on there. We can clean that up though. Right, now we can see our 2.8mm bolts better. There we are. That's the two cylinder bolts from the side. So this cylinder should be able to come off now. I don't think there's anything else holding it on. So I'm just going to give this a little tap from the back and then from the front. And there we are. Et voila! That is our cylinder. Ooh! There we are. Oh, coolant still in it. A little bit, but okay, it's not a problem. So that was our cylinder. Like I say, the cross hatching is still good in it. There we are, you can see that. Cross hatching is still very good. Can I catch a light in here somehow? Yeah, maybe if I do that, I don't know. Anyway, cross hatching is still good. You have to take my word for it if you can't see it. And there's no marks or anything in there, so I don't think we need to do anything with that. So I can go back on. There we are, and there's our cylinder removed. Our piston, I need to have a little inspect of our piston before we take it off. You see the skirts on the piston, there's no marks or gouges or pickup or anything on them. In decent shape actually. There's no blow past on any of it. So I think we'll measure the gap on the rings on this, and I think we may be able to reuse it. We'll just have to check the ring size. So there we are, right. Now what we're going to do, we are going to jam some blue roll or some paper towel down into there to stop any grit or dirt or anything going down into the main bearing, because the last thing we want is for detrite dust, good word, to drop down into those bearings, because they will be shot. You'll have to change them. If anything gets in them, then they gotta be done. So I mean, it may be a case where we change them while we're in there, but they may be perfectly fine. Everything else has been fine so far, so chances are they'll be fine too. So next we're going to take the piston off. Right, so the piston itself is easy to remove. You've just got to remove the circlip from the end of the piston here. Try and do it without getting in the way. That's very difficult though. Right. Just going to get my pliers in onto the circlip. There we are. And there's our gudgeon pin circlip. And then we can just push the gudgeon pin out from the other side. Pull it out this side. It's very slippery because it's covered in oil, and then there's our piston off. It has quite a bit of cork on the top, but other than that, it's in very good condition. So there are a couple of scratches on the actual skirt of the piston. Maybe a case. I think well, depending on the price really. They shouldn't really make a difference as long as they're not raised, and I don't know whether we've just marked that as we've taken the bore off, because there was some stuff in the bore when I pulled it off, so I don't know, we'll have to investigate that further when we put it back together. Okay, so I think that's about it for the end for this episode. We've got the piston off, we've got the head off, we've got the barrel off, we've got the piston out. So next we need to strip off the clutch and the stator, etc. So I think that's a perfect place to say I'll see you next time. If you like the video, please hit the like button. It helps me out immensely. It doesn't cost you anything. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. And most importantly, have a great day. Bye.